Hello, welcome to my channel. Today, I have a very interesting story to share with you. Before I delve into my story, please do me the honor of subscribing to my channel. Hello guys, my name is Miwa. I come from a wealthy family, but my mom and dad never seemed to have a good relationship. My dad is a general in the military and also a disciplinarian. After my mother's death, I decided to come live with my dad and also join the force, which I have an interest in. The very day I was all set and dressed in my soldier uniform, I saluted my father, the general. He noticed my appearance and raised his voice at me to wash off the makeup I had applied to look presentable. In the military, you have to obey the last command. Even though he was my father, I couldn't argue. I just saluted and did as commanded. Personally, I didn't see anything wrong with my look, but it's fine. Later that day, I went to meet with my dad. Honestly, guys, the major reason I came to be with my father was to please him and persuade him to send me abroad to further my education. I pleaded with him.
I wanted to plead with you to help me further my education abroad, sir.
Surprised, he asked if I was planning to leave the military already. Not at all, sir. I just want to study abroad so I can gain better knowledge to serve my country, I said, saluting. He replied that it would be a story for another day. I greeted him and was about to leave when a male soldier came in. My dad quickly introduced him to me as Donald, his MA. We exchanged pleasantries. Donald then told my dad that he was done with his job, and my dad gave us permission to leave. We saluted and left. The following day, we were supposed to go to a very important meeting with the general. Everyone was all set, but I guess my dad would be mad at me as I quickly joined them. Guys, I guessed right. My dad, a no-nonsense man, treated me as just another soldier in the force, scolding me in front of everyone. I quickly apologized. He warned me never to repeat such nonsense again. Otherwise, I would be punished according to the law. My God, I still don't understand my father. I just nodded my head as I left. On our way while driving, I sat next to my father. He began warning me ahead of time not to disgrace him where we were going.
Disgrace me this time with your incapabilities. I have told you countless times to learn from Captain Donald. But no, you chose to lazy around, forgetting that the path of choosing is not for the weakly.
I'm sorry, sir.
My friend, keep quiet.
For real? Does this man even think I am a fool or what? Me, his child, he just speaks to like nothing. I thought a father would always act nice to his child, especially an only child. I was just thinking to myself if he's truly my father, as I quickly responded to him that I wouldn't disgrace them. When we got home, I was so sad and disgusted at how my father treated me, even in the presence of strangers. I began to question if I was from his loins or if I was maybe adopted. Then Donald came in, saw my mood, understood my pain, and began to talk to me, calming me down. Later that night, my dad hadn't responded to our previous conversation, so I decided to go talk to him. When I got there, I saw he was eating, so I saluted and told him I would come back since he was eating. But he stopped me and said I should speak because he was listening. Father, please, it's about my education. I still want to further my education abroad, sir. I don't feel like I belong here, I pleaded. My dad thought about it for a while, then told me to leave. I was surprised as I left. The next morning, I was so paranoid as I spoke to Donald about why my own dad was so hard on me, why he's treating me like I am nothing to him. Donald tried to encourage me, saying I should know and understand who my father is. He is a very disciplined man who won't spare anyone, no matter who you are.
I'm trying my best to make him see me and love me. It just seems like I would never be good enough.
Listen, Mira. You of all people should know who your father is. He is a disciplinarian. And in his dictionary, nobody is spared. You should know this. You shouldn't take anything he says to heart.
But guys, I've tried so hard, I'm trying even harder to understand my dad, but he never sees me. Instead, he chose a stranger, Donald, over his own blood. Who does that? He was always talking about Donald all the time, and it really made me feel like a nobody. Donald tried to cheer me up, telling me he would help me talk to my dad, and I felt a bit relieved. Donald is my dad's favorite. My dad only listens to him, so when he told me he would talk to my dad, I believed him. The following day, my dad sent for me. When I came, he began telling me all sorts of hurtful words. Sincerely, guys, this is the height of it. I've given up already. I've really tried my best to make my dad see the best side of me, but he just doesn't. He believes I am not good enough, I am not tough enough like him, I am not this, I am not that.
Now listen to me, young lady. You are not going anywhere, and that is final.
He yelled at me to leave his presence, so I left and went inside my room. I picked up my phone and called my aunt to pour out my frustration. Auntie, I am tired. I can't deal with this anymore. I came to spend some quality time with my father, but it seems it's not working out anymore. I want to leave, I said. My aunt tried to calm me down, saying if I'm tired, I can always come stay with her. But she encouraged me to be strong until I get what I want, so I thanked her. One fateful day, the general sent for me, and I quickly went to meet him in the living room. The general then instructed me on what to do. He asked that I look through the documents very well before signing them, so I responded, saluted, and left. The next day, I returned, and the general began scolding me for being incompetent at the smallest task he gave me. He mentioned the share was supposed to be 60-40, not 70-30, and I went to sign it. He was so angry that he chased me out and asked me to call Donald. Seriously, guys, I believe this man is not my father. He's always looking for any slight opportunity to ridicule me. Dear Lord, please save me. Immediately I left. I saw Donald and just walked away as I went to my room. Donald followed. I'm just glad that at least someone gets to see me differently, unlike my father. Donald is always there to support and encourage me when I'm downcast, and I'm grateful for it. One fateful day, I overheard my dad raising his voice at someone. Before I got downstairs, I couldn't see who it was, but I got the gist of the quarrel. I was told the person who just left claimed to be my boyfriend, and he's the son of my father's enemy. Guys, honestly, I was just lost, because I didn't even understand what my father was talking about. He kept blaming and accusing me of bringing his enemy to his house. Then and there, he asked Donald to watch my every move and not allow me to leave the house alone. I was so confused and helpless as I dismissed myself to my room. Later, I was alone in my room, lost in my thoughts, when Joy came in. Seeing my mood, she asked me what the issue was. I just told her I wanted to be left alone, but she didn't listen and kept insisting until I raised my voice, shocking her, and she left. Realizing I had done something wrong, I quickly went to the kitchen to meet Joy. I apologized from behind her, startling her as she turned around. Joy, I shouldn't have raised my voice at you, and I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. Joy is indeed a beautiful soul. She understood my pain, had already forgiven me, and we were cool again as we played and chatted. Still worried about who came to visit me unannounced, I went to Donald, but he also accused me of bringing my boyfriend to the house and refused to listen to me. Seriously, what is going on in this house for Christ's sake? I went to the gatekeeper, knowing he's very loyal to my father. I systematically asked him to tell me everything about the person who came to see me claiming to be my boyfriend. He refused at first, but I had to use my womanly wiles by guilt-tripping him, and he finally agreed to speak. Guys, he told me he had never seen such a person before. I was surprised and disturbed as I left. I returned to my room, picked up my phone, and called my boyfriend. I confronted him for coming to my father's house without my consent. To my surprise, he told me he never did anything of the sort. Why would I come to visit you when I know the kind of father you have? Do you want to kill me? He asked. I was speechless, not knowing what else to say. Something is fishy, and I must find out what it is. The following morning, Donald and I were all set, waiting for the general. He finally came out, and we all saluted immediately. As he moved, we all followed, and then he stopped me, asking where I was going. I'm coming with you, sir, I replied. He immediately told me to return to the house, as I was not allowed to leave until further notice. I tried to plead, but he cut me off immediately and told me that if I refused to obey the last command again, he wouldn't mind if he was my father or not. He would punish me according to the law. I quickly saluted and kept quiet as they left. I felt really bad as I angrily went inside the house. I met our housekeeper, who was eavesdropping on our conversation. She warned me to tread carefully because a lot was going on around the general that I did not know about. Then she left. I was just confused. Honestly, guys, I don't think this man will ever see anything good in me. He just hates me. What will I do now? The next day, I was in my room, thinking about my life, when our housekeeper came in. She smiled and called me by my first name. Honestly, guys, that woman is just like a mother to me. She raised me until I was old enough to go to my aunt's house. She then told me everything I needed to know about the guy who came to visit me. She gave me his name.
You have to find him. His name is Smith Okuta.
I was so happy and thanked her. The following day, I was set to go out, only to find out that the general had already given the gatekeeper instructions not to allow me to leave. For real? At that point, I was just speechless. I just left. Then I went to Donald, pleading with him to find a way for me to go out, and he promised to help talk to Dad on my behalf. Later, I was inside when Donald came in. He told me that the general had approved of me going out, but only on one condition. I could only go out with him, Donald. I was speechless and disappointed, but he cheered me up. I didn't have a choice, after all. I had to grab the opportunity. Later that night, Donald and I both went out to have fun. It was so nice, and we were both excited when we came back. This Donald isn't a bad guy after all. He's handsome, caring, and even romantic, I thought to myself as he helped with my shoes before going to check on the general. I was smiling as I watched him walk out. He's such a cool dude, I said to myself, smiling seductively. The next day, I wanted to go out, but the order remained that I couldn't leave the house alone. So I went to talk to Donald to help me out, pleading and touching him sensitively. He couldn't refuse and accepted to help out. I was happy as I thanked and hugged him before leaving to go change. We went out, but I made Donald wait elsewhere for me while I met with the guy who claimed to be my boyfriend. I had already tracked him down and demanded to meet with him. I had done my research and told him everything I knew about him, leaving him shocked.
Smith Okita, aka Gentle Lion, a renowned fraudster who is currently on the run from the cold hands of the force.
How did you dig me this deep?
He began to feel threatened and asked what I wanted. I just asked for the truth from him. Tell me everything. Who sent you and why my father? That day, he told me everything I needed to know. Afterward, Donald drove me home. I thanked him and went inside. Hours later, I waited for him to leave so I could go get the flash drive I left in the car. Later that night, Donald brought my father a glass of juice, and he thanked him, calling him son. I emerged from the kitchen, smiling, and asked, "Why would someone you call your son plan to kill you?" They were all surprised. "Dad, Donald is not who he claims to be." Then I asked why he wanted to poison my father, and he kept denying it until Joy came out and attested to it. She recalled how Donald gave her a substance and lied that the general was very sick, saying the substance would help him recover quickly. After she collected it, he recorded her with his phone before leaving, which raised questions in her mind. She came to my room to confirm what the substance was. I took a close look at it, even browsing online, and saw it was poison. I told her to keep it safe but far from her, and she did. Back in the room, I picked up the flash drive and connected it to the screen. I played the recording of Donald striking a deal with the guy who claimed to be my boyfriend. Donald had sent him to impersonate him to see how the general would react.
I wish. I need to hasten my steps. I need to take out the general as fast as possible.
But guess what, guys? After catching a bull by the horns, he still wanted to escape by denying it was him. I just smiled.
Father, I forgot to tell you that his name is not Donald Easy. His name is Donald Bankole.
And who is Bankole?
Bankole is the same man you accused my mother of sleeping with.
Donald couldn't defend himself anymore and revealed his true self. Donald was the actual enemy my dad was avoiding. He wanted to avenge his father by killing my own father because he believed my father wanted to kill his father first. The general was so shocked and disappointed that the person he loved, trusted, and chose as his son was actually on a mission to end his life. Well, I guess the one you never believed in still saved your life after all, I thought to myself. But the truth is, guys, I just have to protect him because he is still my dad. A quick one, guys. No matter the challenge or misunderstandings you and your partner are going through, let it be between the both of you. Do not impose it upon your child, because who knows, that can raise another terrorist in the body of a child. Still that night, I was in the living room when my father came to apologize to me for all he had done to me. He was remorseful as he explained what had transpired between my mom and him. He believed my mom was cheating on him with his best friend, which made him so mad and furious that he hated her. He begged for my forgiveness. I now see why he was transferring his aggression onto me. I felt his pain, so I forgave him. You will always be my father, and I love you always, I said as we embraced each other that night. What did you learn from my story, guys? Please leave your thoughts in the comment section. As for me, family is everything. Nothing breaks a family's bond. Thanks for watching, guys. Please subscribe to this channel for more interesting and latest Nigerian movie updates. See you next time.